Hello and meow to you too. Welcome back to another video. You guys recommended me more Mor Parz. This is the part 2. Part 1 will be linked down below. We are going to react to more animals, more horrors of Australia. I actually don't find them horrifying. I think a lot of this is really fascinating and you will hear that throughout the video. I love spiders. I love insects. I love them all. I am really a biologist. I am actually a biotechnologist. If you guys don't know what biotechnology is, that's all your little tiny stuff like your bacteria and your DNA. Micro, you can't see it on like a human eye level, all that cool stuff, but I have worked as a zookeeper, and I have worked as a zookeeper in Australia with some of these Australian animals, which means I will give you my best interpretation of things happening in this video. I will give you extra commentary, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. So hit that like and subscribe button for more content from me. And if you would like to support the channel, go check out the Patreon. I do a lot of anime content over there, especially if you like anime, check out the Patreon. That will be linked down below, and it's the best way to support the channel. But now, let's dive on in, shall we? Let's dive into some zombie bugs.
Australia has just found zombified bugs. That's right, we are closer to the Walking Dead Down Under than you think.
Dear.
So just recently, a scientist by the name of Dr. Francois Broussard made a trek out to the remote savannah of the Northern Territory with the goal of finding and cataloguing brand new species of insect unknown to science.
I ain't going to lie, and I don't know if you guys feel the same way down in my comment section. I feel like if you go into the savannah, into the outbacks, and I mean like in the depths of these places, you will be discovering new creatures. Heck, we even discovered that branch bug in the rainforest. So even if you go into the depths of the rainforest, but by going to the depths of these places, you are risking a lot of stuff too, right? Because they are pretty dangerous.
I mean, me personally,
really
I think
dangerous.
we found more than enough bugs, especially considering that half of them can send me directly into the fucking soil.
Maybe this one, no, maybe this one won't send you into the soil.
Right,
maybe.
Anyway, on his trip to the middle of nowhere, he stumbled across a colony of spiny savanna ants, which is a pretty normal thing to find out there. However, getting closer, he noticed something a little off. You see, the main ant colony was fine, completely normal.
Okay.
However, the several disfigured and deformed ant corpses clamped onto shoots of grass surrounding the colony like a Bug's Life version of Vlad the Inhaler. Yeah, those were significantly less normal. Broussard, mildly unsettled by the ant gore on his timeline, took samples for inspection and upon getting a closer look, realized something both really cool and really spooky. The ants had been overtaken by fungus.
Oh my god, it's like that one zombie show. Oh, it's starting. I'm just kidding. This is kind of really neat, interesting that a fungus can overtake an ant like that to portray it. But at the same time, also terrifying because a
previously unknown strain of the cordyceps fungus, infamous around the globe for its ability to create zombie bugs. And the way it does it is unbelievably horrific. You see, it begins with a spore landing on an ant and producing a thin rope-like strand that penetrates and attaches to their exoskeleton. At which point the ant gets a little timer on his hotbar, counting down to a family reunion with his ancestors. Once inside, the fungus begins to take control of the ant's body and brain function.
It's kind of cool,
completely changing their behavior, replacing their...
Okay, sad that all these ants are dying to fungus when they probably shouldn't be dying to this fungus, but isn't this kind of cool to think that there is a fungus capable of doing this? I don't know if that's cool. I think it's cool.
Mindset with one single goal. Climb. Its fungus-riddled mind drags its rapidly deteriorating body to the closest high point, which is usually a
climbing,
with its final act being to clamp its mandibles onto the stem in a death grip. Finally succumbing to the infection and being completely consumed. Its corpse blossoming into a fully grown cordyceps fungus and raining down spores onto the rest of the colony to continue the cycle of infection. Now look, I know this fungus is found elsewhere in the world, but it's a new strain and it was found in Australia.
Of course it was.
I'm going to be playing The Last of Us against couch-sized spiders within the fucking week.
That's the zombie movie, The Last of Us. I couldn't think of it, but yeah, let's go with the fungus. So what I'm hearing is if this ant gets a fungus and he dies on top of said plant, said grass, whatever he dies upon, then that fungus will grow off that ant and produce more spores. So basically, if one ant gets affected by this fungus, it will slowly take out the whole colony. That's what happens, right? Like I'm understanding this, yeah? it's kind of terrifying to think that there is the capabilities of that, because a lot of people, I don't know, don't realize like ants are pretty important. I feel like a lot of people dismiss insects as a whole, insects and spiders, when they are like pretty valuable to the ecosystem. So it's kind of crazy to think that we have fungus wiping out ant colonies. I don't know. To me, it is. Game
Stepping
over.
on this rock could straight up paralyze you.
Is this the fish?
That's because this isn't actually a rock. That is a stonefish, a species of underwater menace native to Australia. And coming as a surprise to absolutely no one, it is also the most venomous fish in the ocean.
Of course it is.
Of course! And spiders weren't enough, now I can get packed up by a pet rock. But why is this Pokemon reject such a threat to my mental health? Well, you see, stonefish use their special venom for defense. However, unlike most other animals that do this little doesn't have the decency to dress like a neon sign to warn you. No. This bastard is a 6th prestige prop hunt veteran, having evolved some of the most impressive camouflage in the animal kingdom to make hunting easier. And
he has kind of some hella cool camouflage. It's crazy to think that this is... He is exactly right. A lot of your venomous animals are bright, colorful, whatever, to be like, stay away from me. And then you have this, playing max camouflage. But he's like this for his hunting techniques, so he can, you know, eat every single day. But it's crazy the difference in the range of these animals.
Set themselves up. They are basically indistinguishable from Patrick Starr's house. Now, this is a fairly major problem, as they love to live in the shallows on the beach.
I wonder how many people step on them accidentally.
Is stored in these.
Surely a lot of people, right?
Giant, highly toxic spines that deliver venom when pressed on. Now, you can probably see where I'm going with this. Considering it's hard enough to spot these things while you're paying attention,
so if you were, say, on
a romantic walk along the beach with one of the homies, and while distracted by his ethereal beauty, weren't paying too much attention to where you were walking, it would be very easy to place your foot in the wrong spot and step directly onto 13 hypodermic needles,
do you have an
which would then deliver a ginormous dose of neurotoxin straight into your system. Oh, you thought it was normal venom? No. You see, these things maxed out the toxin skill tree, producing a mixture of 2 neurotoxins that can flatline you by collapsing your heart and lungs.
Do you say 2 neurotoxins? There's no way this fish. Hello? Why do you need 2? Who's stepping on you in the ocean?
Producing a mixture of 2 neurotoxins that can flatline you by collapsing your heart and lungs in under an hour. And even if you survive, the sting still causes extreme pain, swelling, and tissue necrosis. Because this is Australia.
No. Oh, yeah, do not look that up. If you don't know what that... Nah. Oh.
Australia, where even the scenery is trying to one.
Okay, I don't know if anyone lives in Australia over here. If you are like going into the ocean, like for a swim, do you guys normally wear like, what are they called, water shoes to prevent this? Is this something preventable by water shoes? Or do you just have to like really look at where you're stepping? Or maybe like you shuffle your feet. I don't know. I never went swimming when I was in Australia besides like out in the Great Barrier Reef, but I didn't have to step into the ocean.
Got me.
So I actually don't know. What is this? If you see this animal, oh, bro, do not mess with the anteater.
Run.
Nah.
Introducing the anteater, a goofy
He's kind of pretty though.
Native to Brazil, and to understand why the absolute stance on the...
Wait, if you're new to my content, I've told this story before on stream. I went to a world aquarium. And the very first thing I saw at this world aquarium was an anteater. I didn't even see any fish, any like aquatic animals. It was an anteater. And then I saw an ocelot, and I was like, what kind of aquarium am I at? It was wild to me because, you know, I think aquarium, I think fish, maybe reptiles, snakes, potentially. But like, I don't think I'm going to see a freaking anteater. It was kind of cool though. And it lives rent free in my mind. And now it can live rent free in your mind. You're welcome.
Is a threat to your health. You're going to have to understand a little about his lifestyle first. Now, listen, I know this may come as a shock to you.
Maybe.
But the anteater eats ants.
No way.
Weighing 40 kilos and 1.8 meters in length.
They're pretty.
It needs to consume upwards of 40,000 ants per day. Now, in order to help him hit his bulking goals, the anteater has a mystery mouse tool stored inside that XL sniffer. A 60 centimeter
it's like a woodpecker
long tongue.
That's crazy.
Designed to snake its way down an ant colony's tunnel network, smash into their living room, and deduct the entire cast of bugs' life and convert them into a high-calorie meal. However, what that can do only goes so far, as an ant colony can extend up to 4 meters underground, and termites live in high-rises, which means our boy here is going to have to do a little excavation to get to the goods.
But they have their claws.
Last I checked, an anteater can't go down to Bunnings and buy a shovel. So how does he dig? Oh, that's simple. With the combat knives.
Look at them. Look at the size of these things. Imagine getting slashed. I'm sorry for putting this imagery into your head, but imagine getting slashed by one of these bad boys. Like, you are in trouble.
As for claws, yeah, anteaters are permanently cosplaying Freddy Krueger with a set of 4-inch claws, which, proving the effectiveness of a few inches, can crack through f***ing concrete.
That's crazy. Wait.
Great for digging, but
wait. I knew that their claws were super sharp. I did know that. I didn't realize they're super, like, sturdy and durable, that they can crack through concrete.
They are also more than capable of flatlining you.
Yes, they are.
Yeah. Will rear up into a defensive T-pose. This is your sign, if you are smart, to turn around and all the way off.
Get away
if, however,
safely.
You were, say, some dumbass trophy hunter who really felt the need to try and stab an animal for no reason other than ego.
Wait, this actually happened?
Swipe at you with those claws, which are at the perfect height to nail you in a thigh, slip through your flesh like butter, and sever your femoral artery.
I'm sorry, but in a scenario like this, I feel like you should be using your mind, your brain, and not be approaching an animal this closely. I hate trophy hunters for the most part. I find hunting, valuable if you're using the animal in hunting, but if you're just trophy hunting to trophy hunt, especially the people trophy hunting endangered animals, like, why? I'm not a fan of it. But if you were in the wild, please use your senses. Do not be approaching wild animals. I say this all the time, but I feel like I need to, because I feel like there's always scenarios like this where people want to approach the wild animal, and look, now he's done for.
Out in 2 minutes while the anteater watches you go meet your ancestors. Can you imagine having to explain to your ancestors who felled woolly mammoths you got your packed up by the most unserious creature on the planet hitting a T-pose?
Yeah, but then you could go tell your ancestors that you were being an idiot and you thought approaching an anteater to stab him was a good idea, right? It goes both ways. Like, I don't know. I feel like that's just dumb, honestly. Dominus is...
This bear was actually a soldier.
Heck yeah, it was.
You see, it was 1942, and the 22nd Polish Artillery Company were passing through the mountains of Iran on their way to the front lines to fight the Nazis. While passing through a town on their way, they were stopped by a young Iranian shepherd looking to trade with them for rations and a Swiss Army knife. When the Poles asked what he had to offer in return, the young shepherd produced a burlap sack containing an orphaned Syrian brown bear cub.
How did you
this
even...
bear's mother was shot by hunters, which is how he ended up in a low-tech Pokeball being offered as a trade deal. The Polish looked at the bear and clearly seeing the potential for insane dad law, said, "Damn good deal." And in the most worthwhile...
Imagine bringing it back to your commanders or something. You're like, yeah, so we made this sick trade. We now have a bear cub. And then your commander would just be staring at you like, what in the actual heck did you all just do?
Trade deal in history parted ways with their supplies in exchange for a f***ing Pokemon, adopting him into their ranks and naming him Wojtek. And the 22nd immediately set about raising
he must be a legend
as a proper bear and soldier. Maggots! As a baby, they would feed him condensed milk out of an empty vodka bottle, as well as feeding him on the cartoon bear diet.
I mean, yeah, so be it.
Consisting of fruit, honey, and marmalade. They also appointed a soldier as his caretaker who wasted no time in showing Wojtek how to fit in with the rest of the army, teaching Yogi's little cousin to wave, salute, and even march. While not undergoing rigorous military training, Wojtek would hang out with the soldiers. He drank coffee with them in the morning, trained with them in the day, and when they all got shit-faced in the evening, he would f***ing wrestle with them.
What?
Do you know how much a brown bear has to love you to wrestle you? On top of double rations.
What? I would never even... I know he was raised by humans. He's still a wild animal. And he's still a freaking brown bear. Like, one wrong move, you're done for by him. Even though you're play wrestling, correct? But, like, one wrong move, and you're, like, absolutely done for.
So
that's crazy.
Treats in the form of beer and cigarettes. They let the bear have smoko. Eventually, Army High Command heard about this and were having absolutely none of it. You see, pets were not allowed in the army, which meant Wojtek had to go.
That's why I was thinking the commanders, like, were not cool with it.
Because
were they cool with it?
The 22nd Artillery Company officially enlisted him.
I'm doing my part.
Then you can't do anything there. Okay.
I'm doing my part.
Wojtek was given a serial number and granted the rank of private. So when confronted about the very conspicuous bear in their ranks, they simply went, "That's not a bear, that's Private Wojtek." And Wojtek took his new role very seriously, as during the Battle of Monte Cassino in 1944, Wojtek began using his bulk to transport artillery shells and ammo to soldiers engaged in combat.
Wow.
They had a fucking resupply bear. For his bravery, he was promoted to the rank of corporal, and the 22nd changed their insignia to a bear carrying an artillery shell. This absolute unit smoked, drank, and dropped artillery on the Nazis.
That's kind of really cool.
Based.
I'm not gonna lie. I think this is a fascinating story of things that, like, how animals are so incredible, and a lot of people don't give animals the respect that they deserve. Like, this animal was able to learn and train with other soldiers. I don't know if it was, like, I don't know if there's any incidents if this bear attacked anyone. I feel like if he did probably attack another soldier, he probably, like, injured another soldier, he probably wouldn't be here anymore fighting alongside them. I don't know his deep down history, and we should listen to a minute of this, but I think it's so fascinating to be like, yeah, there was a bear soldier, and he was an actual valuable member of the team, like, of the war. He carried, you know, ammo and supplies. He was functional, and it's just wild to think that they actually had a soldier bear.
This bird can straight hit you with a Mortal Kombat fight.
Yes, they can. I worked with one of these, and yes, they can. The one I worked with kicked the fence once. He kicked the fence once, and then, like, dented the fence galore, and I was like, brother! Dangerous.
This bird can straight hit you with a Mortal Kombat fatality.
I think they're cute.
Finish him.
Introducing the cassowary, a species of ratite native to the land down under.
Yes.
And for once, guys, it's not venomous. Can still flatline you, though.
He's not venomous. He's just massive with massive legs that can, you know, one-hit you. I used to have to chop up his fruit every single morning. And let me tell you, this boy eats a lot of freaking fruit. I'd be chopping up, like, everything. Everything in the fridge, basically, for him to eat every single morning.
And I'm going to tell you how. You see, these neon chickens belong to the same family of birds as the emu, and as such share their impressive size.
He has such a weird build, though.
79 kilos.
Look at his feet. You gotta look at his
6
feet.
feet tall, meaning the short kings in my audience could, in theory, mount these things like a chocobo. But what makes them stick out from emus? Well, you see, the cassowary is basically a spec ops emu, being twice the weight, highly territorial, and most importantly, coming with a
you see those legs? You see them?
Strapped to their foot. That's right.
So like I said, I used to work with one. And in the rainforest, there was people who would, like, go to approach a wild one, and I would be like, hey, if you see a cassowary, do not approach him in the wild. And people would still, like, get up close to him or try to get up close to him, and the cassowary normally would move away. But I, like, watch scenarios like this happen, and I can't really intervene. You know, I can tell you the speech, but it comes a time where I know my own safety, right? Like, I can't protect you if you want to be an idiot, but I was always like, if you see him in the wild, do not approach them. But then people would be like, oh, I want, like, pet him, or I want a cool photo. And I'm like, no, it is not worth aggravating a bird who can kick you and do serious harm for, like, that nice photo. Like, take your photo and leave from a distance. But this just goes to a lot of people not respecting wildlife. Right?
This is a cassowary claw.
Look at
That's
it.
the reason they can hit
It's
you
crazy.
with a fighting game finisher. You see, these claws are a full 5 inches long.
Crazy.
You know, I mean, honestly, 5 inches, way too big for anything, and especially if it's something that's going inside me. And if you anger the tactical assault turkey, that is exactly what you're gonna get, as their go-to defense method is to kick you square in the gut with that kitchen knife and attempt to disembowel you. And I mean, even if the kick doesn't put your insides on the outsides, that kick is still going to send you flying, which can cause some fairly major problems. Problems like the incident that occurred in 2012, where I you not, a cassowary ran up behind a random tourist, hit the heavy attack button, and kicked the guy down a small cliff into the ocean. I mean, luckily he survived, but the fact that I live in a country where at any point I could be hit with a sneak attack by a kaiju
Him surviving that, fell off a cliff into an ocean, survived. That is a miracle. And I can't believe the cassowary jump scared him. That's what I'm telling you. If you are in the rainforest looking for wild cassowaries, because it's really cool to see them in the wild, especially when you see the males with their babies, because the male is the one that stays with the baby, so it's kind of fascinating within the animal kingdom, because that's not normal, right? They're really cool and majestical to see, but I will tell you this now. Make sure you are on high alert, max alert, check your surroundings, make sure you're doing 360 views, and stay on a path. Unless if you are with someone really qualified and knows the area, even then I would still stay on, a recognizable path, because there's a lot of weird stuff in there. And cassowary is like the least of your problem when it comes to the rainforest. There's a lot of cool, interesting, weird things. You remember that plant from last episode? Yeah, that's in the rainforest. You never know what's in there. So definitely if you are going in there, take a guide, whatever. And I remember, like I said, I worked with one cassowary and we weren't like physically allowed in his pen. Whenever we had to clean it or give him food or whatever, we had to like lock him off in a cage, basically like a little kennel. Wasn't really little, it was still big enough area for him, but we had to put like a gate across so he couldn't get at us and like we couldn't get at him, so we could like take care of his pen, and then we let him out when we were done and we were out of the way. But it was like a two-part system because it dangerous animal wasn't allowed in, had to be very high alert. Fun fact, or Platypus. Not fun fact. If you didn't like that fun fact, I don't know.
Weird. But I'm not sure you quite understand just how fucking weird. So, everyone knows the basics. They lay eggs, they sweat milk, and they look like God hit randomizer on the spore creature creator and just called it a day. But you see, mate, that's barely even scratching the surface of weird platypus features. Yeah. First up, as is the qualifier for any Australian animal.
They don't look real. I'm sorry.
No,
they are.
I'm not fucking with you. You heard me correctly.
The males are venomous, at least. I think they're such a weird and unique looking creature. I love the platypus, but man, when I saw one for the very first time in person, I was like, this can't be, like, I know this is a physically real animal because it's in front of my eyes, but just looking at like the body structure of a platypus, I was like, oh, he looks so weird. I love him though.
Male platypus actually have venomous spurs on their hind legs. These spurs are multi-purpose, acting as defense from predators, as well as a tool for throwing hands with other male platypus during mating season. And while their venom is non-lethal, that doesn't mean that getting stung by them doesn't fucking suck. See, platypus venom can cause extreme pain and swelling, and to ensure you remember not to fuck with them again, these effects can last for several months. And have
the nice thing about platypus, though, compared to a lot of these other venomous animals that show up in this video, a platypus is a very timid animal for the most part, some exceptions. And if they know you're there, you probably won't see them. They like to basically run away and hide because they are a prey animal, which is nice, unlike, these spiders and the stonefish and etc. They're just lurking there regardless.
Treatment or anti-venom, so if Perry stabs your shit, your only option is to cry about it. Next on the list of offensive capabilities, I shit you not, platypus share the same hunting method as sharks. You see, that big-ass bill isn't just for show, as it contains enough surveillance equipment to make the CIA blush. Possessing the ability to sense changes in pressure in the water, most importantly, containing electroreceptors that track electrical signals from muscle contractions made by their prey. Meaning that when whatever they're chasing starts quaking in fear, they know about it. And last but not least, as if those things weren't already unbelievable, we recently discovered something new. Platypus are fucking biofluorescent. They glow. If you hit these things with a black light, they go bright fucking green. And the best part of that is, we have no clue
we don't know
why they do it. I guess it just means Perry was a biblically accurate platypus man. I'll give up, man.
That's crazy. That's crazy to think that you have an animal like that that's bioluminescent. It's kind of cool, though. I'm going to insert a platypus clip right now into this video if you are seeing on the screen. This is a video I took when I was over in Australia. I went looking for the platypus in the wild. That was like one of my missions. My mission was to A, see a platypus in the wild, B, see a cassowary in the wild, which I unfortunately missed the cassowary in the wild. It's okay. And 3, see a huntsman. Oh, and see crocodile salties in the wild. And I did get to see salties in the wild. They were all sunbathing. It was kind of really cool because they are massive. But those are my 4 goals, and I hope you enjoyed the platypus clip that I actually took. This is my own footage. Pretty cool, right? Or not cool, I don't know. But next!
Die in this thing. Koalas are really dumb.
Yes, they are.
In fact, Australia's fuzzy icon is probably the dumbest thing on the planet. And that stupidity starts with their diet. Because of all the things they could have chosen to eat, they chose to eat nothing but straight up poison.
Yep.
You see, koalas feed exclusively on eucalyptus leaves, which, shocking no one, are highly toxic. Because they are full to the brim with eucalypt oil, which is so fucking poisonous that as little as 3.75 mil is enough to land you in the afterlife, with the Reaper asking you why the fuck you felt the need to eat a leaf.
Why?
Oh, it's also highly flammable and burns like napalm. Because Australia. Now, despite nature putting up this giant do not eat sign, that did not stop the koala.
No.
Because he can't fucking read. This suboptimal bulking diet not only gives the koala all in the way of nutrition, but also requires their body to rest to filter out the toxins so they don't fucking cark it.
That's
Meaning
all they
need to spend upwards of 18 hours a day sleeping in order to just digest their fucking food.
He's so
These
cute,
dumbasses spend most of their life in a food coma. That is, however, if they even get to the food to begin with, because they are so mind-numbingly brain-dead that they will not recognize a eucalyptus leaf as food unless it is on the branch. I could give this dumbass a lifetime supply of food, and if it wasn't on a stick, he would starve to death. It should come as no surprise to you at this point that the koala has such an esky temperature IQ that they literally have a smooth brain.
They do have a smooth brain.
Right off of this dumb c***. I love him.
I can't be the only one that finds koalas cute, right? Right, YouTube? I think the cool thing about koala, well, not really cool. He did say this, so they eat eucalyptus leaves. They're, correct me if I'm wrong, these thoughts are from the top of my head right now. There's like over 600 eucalyptus variants within Australia. And the koala only eats like 5% of them. There's so many eucalyptus variations, but this little guy on your screen right now does not like a lot of them. And he will only eat certain ones. And he prefers ones other than, like, prefers, whatever. But I think it's crazy to think, A, he's eating toxic leaves, and then B, he's so picky that he has to eat certain variants of this toxic leaf. Is that not crazy to think? They're cool animals, though, in the deep dive down thing. Like, they have, like, little, like, almost opposable thumbs type things to hold onto the tree when they're sleeping. They are cool, and they have lots of cool mechanics within the koala, but the overall koala stat is pretty low. He do just be sleeping all day in the wild. That's what he does. And then when they're on the ground and they get lost, they're lost. But they're cute.
Most snails aren't scary, except for this one. This one's Australian.
What is this? Of course it is.
Introducing the cone snail, an aquatic mollusk native to the land down under. And as seems to be the requirement when sharing your postcode with a kangaroo.
Is this an aquatic snail?
You guessed it. It can quite easily cause your neck snap to be a coffin.
Of course it can.
Why? Way it can achieve it
why
is
not?
This bad boy right here. You see, despite most snails having a reputation for being slow goobers that get folded by a salt shaker, the cone snail is a highly effective ambush predator. And you may be wondering, how the fuck does a creature that moves slower than the GTA 6 development cycle hunt anything? Well, that's simple.
Ambush.
It has a grappling hook.
Wait, what?
That's right. Gary's murderous little cousin here is a roadhog, mate.
Hi there.
And he hunts by slowly but surely stalking up on his prey until he's just within range, and then bang! The cone snail does a quarter circle input, spitting out a toothed harpoon at 90 kilometers a hour.
I'm sorry. This snail is what? Not that big, okay? He probably is not that big, but he's able to pack a punch this hard. This is so fascinating.
Harpoon then nails its prey, allowing them to reel it in.
Oh, that makes sense of why he's an ambush predator.
Scorpion.
Oh, that's cool.
In case that wasn't bad enough,
Oh.
as seems to be a requirement for spawning on Australian servers, it's venomous.
Yeah.
That
Yep,
harpoon
we're
also
venomous.
injects its prey with a highly potent neurotoxin that instantly paralyzes it. This means it cannot put up a fight as it is sucked into the snail's ginormous...
So why did like every animal that has neurotoxin end up in Australia again? Do we know the answer here? I feel like there's a lot of animals down here with neurotoxin.
Or like a nightmarish version of Kirby. And
he's actually kind of big.
You thought for once you might be safe, cone snail venom is potent enough to kill 700 people with one sting.
What?
Oh yeah, and there's no anti-venom. Because it's not enough that it can kill me. No, I have to die knowing there is zero counterplay.
Okay.
Who balanced this
I lost the mollusk there. My only question is, A, have people died from this snail? And B, how many? Because I feel like as an ambush predator, he's not really going to go after a human. But at the same time, you never know because it could have been a defense mechanism. But I think he knows that the human is like too big to eat. I don't know. Who knows? That's a stat that I'm going to have to Google for later after this video because I'm curious to see how many fatalities, if there are any, relating to the snail. Because he'd be packing a punch.
Scientists just de-extincted a 12,000-year-old dog. Well,
this is the dire wolf. I hate this. Okay. Real quick. As a biotechnologist, which is like, this is my field. This is what we are. This is what we do. We break down the DNA and we can find loops and holes and all that in the DNA. I think it's really fascinating and cool that we can genetically modify an animal to make it unique to an extinct animal, aka like the dire wolf. He's not an exact copy though. If you guys actually look into it further, he's just like a mimic of I think it's a gray wolf, right? They took a gray wolf or a red wolf. They took one of the wolf species and added a little bit more genes to it to kind of make it like a dire wolf, but it's not a full dire wolf type 5. I would suggest if you are curious in this topic to go like deep diving. There's a whole bunch of videos out there. Really cool. But at the same time, I'm like, why? Like, why are we doing this? Because rich people have money? Like, is this why? I feel like, I don't know this. I'm so hot and cold on this topic.
Kinda.
Very hot and cold.
A bioengineering company called Colossal has dedicated itself to doing what every single Jurassic Park film has told us is a bad idea.
Correct. Like this makes me so happy that like we have discoveries like this, but it makes me so sad that we're using all these like money and resources to bring back an extinct wolf because we can, right? Like that's basically why, because we can. The cool thing is it does progress the genetics further and we do learn and explore things about this, but I feel, see, I'm so heartbroken. I can be here forever and I'm not going to rant anymore, or else I will be here forever. But just know that this topic is very hot or cold with me.
And recently, they made a breakthrough. They have managed to bring back the 12,000-year-old dire wolf. You know those big-ass puppies from Game of Thrones at the Stark?
Correct.
Yeah, those were actually a real-ass animal, alive during the late Ice Age. And the best way I can describe them to you is basically a wolf on steroids. Yeah, buddy!
They're pretty,
These things were
at
bigger,
least.
faster, and stronger, estimated to have the highest bite force out of any canine. And in a move that I'm sure has no implications, they have managed to bring these bad boys back to life. These two little guys are now 6 months old and have been living on a private plot of land with 24/7.
See, here's another thing. We're talking about the pluses here. From my understanding, and anyone can correct me if I'm wrong, it's been a while since I deep dove into this and read about it, but they had a lot of failed experiments, no? Like before they got to this end product, there was a lot of failures.
In veterinary care. However, they've only just been shown off to the public, with the company going so far as to get a photo up with George R.R. Martin holding one of these adorable little
So, you gonna finish Game of Thrones? No, I'm kidding.
Will literally interact with an extinct species before he finishes that last book. There is, however, one small problem.
Yeah.
This isn't technically a dire wolf.
Yeah, see, there
by
you go.
merit of them being extinct,
I jumped the gun.
Short of specking into necromancy, you can't exactly bring them back. Which is where this guy comes in. You see, the grey wolf shares 99.5% of its genetic code with the dire wolf. So, using CRISPR gene editing, they basically toss the grey wolf back into the spore creator, then using the code found in dire wolf fossils as a build guide, juiced the out of it, boosting the size slider and putting some extra points into strength, as well as adjusting its head shape and teeth. All in all, they made a total of 20 edits to 14 genes, producing the closest thing we can get to a direwolf short of time travel. Which is cool as f***. I give it 5 years before a man-made horror beyond comprehension breaks out of that f***ing lab and we are all playing Resident Evil.
Yeah, but like I said, it's kind of really cool that we have the capabilities of doing this. But at the same time, it's crazy. I'm going to bring up a few points here real quick. Alrighty, feel free to skip ahead if you don't want this extra information. If you want this extra information, feel free to stick around. It's not going to be that long, but they are all time section. This is what I'm talking about. The false hope, uncomfortable truth about direwolf de-extinctional laid bare. When he was talking about the edits to the gray wolf, it's the Colossal carried out 20 edits and 14 genes of the gray wolf genome to create their dire wolves, quote unquote, using a genetic technique called CRISPR-Cas9, which, if you guys don't know about CRISPR-Cas9, it is revolutionary, it is fantastic, top of the world, absolutely love it, really cool things, but then we're doing stuff like this. So realistically, they're calling these dire wolves, but they're basically what you would refer to as a GMO gray wolf. And the reason that they are doing this project and quote-unquote creating these dire wolves is they're saying that it's for de-extinction projects and it's to help reverse biodiversity loss and habitat protection and restoration, plus the control of like invasive species and phasing out of fossil fuels. That's their reasoning behind creating the dire wolf. But if you look at things, I feel like this money could definitely be used towards animals that technically like need it nowadays, quote unquote, if that makes sense. Like we have so many animals in the world that are suffering and on the brink of extinction, endangerment, aka look at your rhino species. Like look how much the rhinos are suffering. And I know that there's a lot of money in the rhinos already, but if we're, you know, bringing back what, a 12,000 year old wolf or whatever, we could be probably doing more to help the rhinos. You know what I mean? Like there's just scenarios like this, and this is why I'm so hot and cold on this. I'm done talking about this though, but this topic, if you ever like want a video on it or talk about it, I am 100% here to talk about it. I am here. I am excited. And I'm pretty sure, correct me if I'm wrong too, I'm pretty sure this is a private funded company as well. Colossal, the one that created the direwolf, I think it's private funding, which is a little bit more, you know, we can do more things here. But on to the next video. Sorry so much for the direwolf rant. I do apologize for this topic. It makes me happy and it also frustrates me so much. But we're going to the next one. Alrighty. We're back for my round.
Australia lost a war to emus.
Good old emus.
But how? How the f*** did we lose an armed conflict
an emu
with flightless birds? Well, it all started in 1932 when farmers in Western Australia wanted to grow wheat. There was just one major problem. That's emu territory. And emus really like wheat. And coming in at 6 foot tall and 40 kilos in weight, they can eat a lot of it. So when breeding season came around, the emus migrated through the farmland.
That makes
sense. And these poor farmers were overwhelmed by a tyrannid swarm of man-sized poultry, 20,000 emus strong. These feathered tanks then proceeded to completely steamroll through the fences into the fields and started laying waste to the wheat. The farmers attempted to fight back the initial wave with rifle fire, but their efforts were, putting it lightly, completely useless. This ginormous L made the farmers pretty bloody angry, so they gathered together and went to the government to ask for help. Sir, 20,000 emus have hit the wheat fields. Me, mate. And so the government declared the emus enemies of the state and sent in the army to commence the Great EMU War. The entire 7th Heavy Artillery Division was deployed to WA, armed with 2 LMGs, 10,000 rounds, and the sole objective to blast anything with feathers. A little bit excessive for an overgrown turkey if you ask me, and upon their first deployment, the army immediately ran into a major problem. Emus are fast.
Yes, they are. Correct. Are you telling me that the emus are just outrunning all these bullets? Also, do people eat emu meat? You know, like how we eat like turkeys and chickens? I don't know this question. I've never ate emu. I'm pretty sure. At least like if you're killing all these emus, you have meat as well, correct? I don't know.
Really fast, clocking a top speed of 50 kilometers an hour, which meant that once they opened fire, the emus would immediately bolt out of range of their weapons. But they still took a crack at it, and then immediately stopped when both LMGs jammed after only dropping 12 emus. This embarrassment led the army to retreat and rethink their plan.
Those are some good LMGs.
Later, they returned, this time mounting the LMGs on trucks in an attempt to run the birds down. However, this also didn't work, because after figuring out that those trucks meant they were about to be turned into a KFC family bucket, the emus started leaving scout birds who would warn the flock of the approaching trucks, which gave them all enough time to book it before the army even got there. And whenever they did catch the emus, they found out they were kind of... Because emus are mostly feathers, and there's a lot of places you can hit on them without doing any damage. Meaning it was taking around 10 bullets for every one bird. So after a month of blood, sweat, tears, and 10,000 rounds of ammunition, the army managed to bring down 960. The population was 20,000. This was an issue as, unlike America, our defense budget is not a bottomless pit. So the army had wasted all that money to achieve absolutely fuck all. So the government just kind of built a really long, really shit fence around the farms and called it a day.
I'm just curious, if you are... So they mounted the LMG to a moving vehicle to kill these emus, and they're driving around. Would they not be driving around the wheat fields, destroying the wheat fields? Like, is that not happening as well, or is that not happening? Like, there's no way that they avoided the wheat fields if they were driving. You know, for example, you know how farmers are like private property when like people are ATVing on their crops because it destroys their crops, and that's a lot of money, especially back then. So like, were they driving on the crops or no? Were they also a problem?
How the fuck did we lose this?
I love it though.
I could have done a better job with a boomerang and a cricket bat. This shrimp.
I would love to see you. I would love to see you do that, bro. This shrimp is in Dan. Niche reference.
This shrimp can cause explosions.
My main goal is to blow up.
He's cool though.
Introducing the mantis shrimp, native to the West Indo-Pacific Ocean and possibly the coolest crustacean under the sea.
He definitely is.
This fluorescent armored sausage is actually a voracious, bloodthirsty predator rocking enough surveillance equipment to scare the CIA with a weapon powerful enough to surpass Metal Gear. See, the mantis shrimp is a...
You know what's also really cool that lives in the ocean? If you guys ever want to deep dive down into it as well, because he touched upon it briefly, but sea slugs. Like sea slugs / sea snails. Hella cool topic to dive into. I went to like a public speaking event type vibe, you know, where like you have experts speak about it. So I went to one and I listened to like a 2-hour presentation of a lady who did research on all of them, and she would show us all the pictures. And they're so fascinating if you like this. If you don't like them, you're not going to enjoy them. But if you ever want to see some more pretty, colorful creatures that live in the ocean that aren't like fish, check out the sea slugs / snails, and you will not be you will be amazed. Okay.
Highly effective predator, and they find and track their prey with easily the most advanced set of eyes on the fucking planet. First off, each of these eye stalks can rotate independently like a periscope, giving them a full 360 degrees of vision. However, more importantly, they can see colors we can't. You see, the mantis shrimp's eyes contain a full 15 photoreceptor cones.
That's crazy.
Compared to our 3. Which is
15
a fancy way
compared
of
to
saying
3.
they can see in 16K HDR with ray tracing enabled at 500 render distance.
Oh my piece.
Now, not only is the visual clarity unmatched, they can also see into the infrared and ultraviolet light spectrums. And despite all of this, they still can't find who asked.
Group photo of everyone who asked.
What they can, however, find is their next meal. The mantis shrimp subsists on a diet of fish, worms, squidward, and, most importantly, Mr. Krabs. Now, crabs famously exist inside of a defensive shell. So, how does this polite little gentleman break into the shell? Simple. He throws hands.
Yeah. That's cool.
That's right. Weighing in at only 90 grams and 38 centimeters in length, the mantis shrimp has a punch that produces 15,000 newtons of force. That is 176 newtons per gram. So if a human was capable of that same kind of force, a right hook from someone who weighs 80 kilo would be like getting hit in the face with 6 sticks of
it's
dynamite.
always fascinating to me. You have these such little creatures like the snail from earlier and this one who's able to literally, with him, pack a punch that fast and that much heat. Where the snail was able to use his little harpoon ability thingy is, I just call it an ability. It's like a freaking video game out here, literally. But I think it's so cool that such small animals have such large ways of living.
Now, to produce that force, its claw needs to be moving at 83 kilometers an hour.
That's
which
crazy.
Is so fast, it creates a vacuum in the water called a cavitation bubble, which then immediately collapses at such a speed, it creates a mini explosion that flashbangs the target and reaches a temperature hotter than the surface of the sun. Mr. Krabs is getting disintegrated.
Money.
Money.
Dolphins get drunk.
Oh no.
But why? Well, you see, the dolphin is by far and away.
I don't know. Why not? Why? Do you need an excuse to get drunk? I don't think so.
The smartest animal in the ocean.
They're cool.
In fact, they're actually the second smartest thing on the planet, just behind you and me. This means they are smart enough to understand that the ideal way to spend your night is more plastered than Chad Max on your average Cold Ones episode. There is just one problem. Last I checked, there's no bottle-o and bikini bottom. So how does a dolphin get fired for all? Simple.
I reference that meme so freaking much. The 2 shots of vodka meme is like a pinnacle for myself. I love it.
Pufferfish. You see, due to the lack of underwater alcohol, dolphins need to find other ways to get their fix.
Crazy.
Which is where SpongeBob's driving instructor comes in.
Thank you, Pearl.
Pufferfish contain this really cool and totally not dangerous substance.
You think a pufferfish is like terrifying when he sees a crew of dolphins approaching him? Like, imagine being a little pufferfish just swimming in the ocean, all happy, whatever doing pufferfish do, and then you look above you and you see like a gang of dolphins coming at you. Terrifying.
What is
tetrodotoxin?
You know, it's only one of the most potent natural neurotoxins on the planet. This will freeze your heart and lungs in under an hour with a tiny dose.
Of course it will.
It's the reason why cooking a pufferfish requires a dexterity check, so you don't, hit the poison gland and get yourself deleted.
I love places once to serve pufferfish too.
As a defense mechanism, as poison accumulates in their organs and skin.
He's
Why
chilling.
Is that important? Well, you see, I kind of lied. Dolphins don't get drunk. They get high on neurotoxin.
Heck yeah.
Pods of dolphins will bully pufferfish until they inflate, then partake in a literal puff-puff pass. By lightly squeezing the puffer in their mouth, they receive a small dose of neurotoxin, which has a narcotic effect, allowing Flipper here to trip balls before passing the unhappy basketball onto the next submarine stoner. Flipper and friends saw...
It's wild to think that this is what dolphins are doing for like their own enrichment. It's crazy. It's kind of cool though that they developed a mechanism to prevent them from being affected by this neurotoxin as well. But it's wild. It's wild. Absolutely wild. I love it. I love it so much.
The planet. And so it. Let me try some of that.
Fantastic.
This jellyfish is basically a time bomb.
I love jellyfishes.
Introducing the Irukandji, a species of jellyfish.
A lot of them are ticking time bombs. There's a lot of jellyfish out there that you should not be approaching and or touching and or doing whatever you want to do with a jellyfish.
Fish native to the northern waters of the land down under, and possibly my least favorite animal in the entire ocean, because it is just a massive, spiteful.
The problem too with a lot of jellyfish is they're very unnoticeable. They're almost like this lucid, transparent-ish to them, depending on the jellyfish. So when they're in the ocean, it's very, very difficult to see that you are near a jellyfish. And that's a main problem with them.
Misleading, as this little guy is tiny. I mean, ridiculously small. Being not much bigger than your fingernail at the head.
That's
and
crazy.
Basically completely invisible
so you're SOL.
to the naked eye. This is a fairly major problem, because behind that halo cloak frame, they are dragging 3-foot-long tentacles and shocking absolutely no one.
Say the line, Bart.
Neurotoxin!
It is one of the most venomous jellyfish in the ocean.
Yeah. So he's the size of your fingernail, but yet he has 3-foot tentacles. Those body proportions, crazy.
I'm so f***ing tired of the stealth poison multi-classes on OCE servers, dude. This shit is broken. You see, those 3-foot tentacles are covered with tiny little barbs, and at the barest touch, they will literally propel themselves into your skin like a bullet and inject you with the Australia Special, a pina colada cocktail of various neurotoxins. And upon being injected, you will feel
pain.
Absolutely nothing.
You probably get
You'll keep swimming around, splashing about in the water, kissing the homies, until you are overcome with a sudden, severe feeling of impending dread. I mean the kind of dread that will have you hysterically screaming that you are
0 to 100.
die.
I am gonna die! I'm gonna die! I'm gonna f***ing die!
That's because the invisible cunt here does psychic damage, inflicting a condition known as Irukandji syndrome.
Whoa! Whoa! A specimen of mellow species in a clear plastic with medical toxicity. Symptoms: headache, backache, chest and abdominal pain, nausea, vomiting, pathological sweating, severe and sudden onset anxiety. What? 30 minutes after exposure, duration 40 to 30 hours, sometimes up to 2 weeks. What?
Syndrome, which starts with a feeling of impending doom so strong there are records of people asking to be, avoiding a ban here, forcibly disconnected from God's Minecraft server. And that feeling of doom is warranted because about 30 minutes after being stung, that biological bomb goes off, with the venom initially causing extreme pain throughout your entire body. And after making you feel like a failed isekai protagonist, the venom then spikes your blood pressure and heart rate through the roof.
Yeah, it says it enlarges your heart.
Attacks, blood clots, and has even been recorded to cause brain hemorrhages.
Yeah.
And the fucked up part is, it doesn't have an anti-venom.
This
of course
thing
it doesn't.
sneak attacks
Why
you,
would it?
waits 30 minutes, sends you a private DM telling you it got your ass, and there is not a fucking thing you can do about it.
It's kind of crazy to think all these things in this world that do not have their anti-venom, antidote, whatever it may be. And like, look at them. They're so potent out here, and yet nothing. It's like a good luck, have fun. I hope you live through it scenario. But the nice thing is there are a lot of like preventive measures, and medical has been, you know, involved in such a way that there is ways to prevent like spreading or blah, blah, blah. Not in all cases. Some cases you are actually SOL, and my apologies for that. But it's also kind of cool. And the nice thing is that we're still learning, we're still evolving, we're still coming up with new things. So maybe, you know, down the line, we might have some antidote, but we probably won't.
Toxic.
It's probably really hard.
A lot of people are scared of snakes.
This bird hates
but
snakes.
Have you ever wondered what snakes are scared of? The
Birds?
answer is this fucking bird. Introducing the secretary bird, native to the continent of Africa, and a prime example that being a hater...
This video is a lot quiet than the others. Hold on.
Pays off. Coming in at 1.3 meters tall and 4.27 kilos
He's
in weight,
cool.
this
Cool.
lanky turkey has been purpose-built, nay, expertly fucking engineered by the gods themselves with the sole purpose of violating
Look at them.
the ever-loving out of any garden hose.
Bro.
So much...
Snakes get so much disrespect over here in this continent. You have this bird out here, and then on the flip side, on the mammal side of things, you have the freaking honey badger. Bro, snakes should be staying disrespected.
Looks at it the wrong way.
Oh my gosh.
You see, these bad boys are birds of prey, but unlike their cousins in
You know what? They're just like big worms to them. It's okay.
the same category, they are primarily terrestrial, which means they spend most of their time on the ground. This is because their preference for diet is sentient slithering sausages. However, with this thing being endemic to Africa, their preferred meal also just happens to include some of the deadliest predators on the fucking planet. Does this stop the secretary bird?
No.
Mate. Despite having no natural venom resistance, these absolute fucking gigachads will eat cobras, boomslangs, and black mambas without breaking a sweat. But how do they hunt these things without getting
They have to like smash the head in.
Simple.
Have to.
They just kick the fuck out of them.
Oh. He does.
You see, those long-ass legs aren't just for show, as a secretary bird is capable of accurately curb-stomping a snake's head into the ground with a force equal to 5 times their fucking body weight.
That's impressive.
So when a secretary bird fancies a bite to eat, they start out by stomping the ground around dense vegetation. This causes snakes in the area to poke their heads out of their houses to see what the is going on. The snake then looks up in horror as the secretary bird locks onto him, sprints over at Mach 9, and then...
Oh, and that's over. And that's over. Oh, that's a demo.
This adorable
so they do go for the head, though.
Is also
that makes sense. I'm like, I feel like if they're going for the body or anything, they risk the snake turning around and biting them. And since they don't have any venom resistance, they're going to be SOL. Speaking of venom resistance, I looked into it. You guys watched that honey badger video I did? I think it's with Casual Geographic. I don't know, like a month ago now or whatever. I did look into it of why the honey badger doesn't, you know, get poisoned or dies when he kills the snakes or whatever. And it is like a, I'm going off memory here. I did comment it down on the video though. It's like a genetic modification to the mRNA strand. It replaced one of the, I think it's replacing the T with a W, W with a T. It is a modification though that they have within their things to allow this. More information is on the video if you're curious, if you ever want to look at my old content. But I did research it for those who were asking and those who were curious when I said that I would. It is, like I said, in the comments over on that video. But yeah, it's kind of cool.
Adorable little octopus is also the world's deadliest.
Nah.
Introducing the blue.
You ever see the photos of people just holding this, not knowing, I guess this is the most lethal octopus? I can't be the only one. They're like, oh, look at this cute little octopus. And they're like, oh, I found this cute little octopus. I had literally this in their hand. And I'm like, whoa. I'm like, brother, you're playing with fire.
And in a shock to precisely 0 people at this point,
I'm
it's
not
venomous.
Shocked.
Because of course,
whoa, no way. No kidding.
Wouldn't it be venomous? That'd make my life way too fucking easy. Now, to its credit, unlike most of the toxic bullshit in this hellscape I call home, they at least have the common decency to be coloured like a fucking neon sign. However, it immediately loses this credit by being the octopus equivalent of a hobbit, coming in smaller than a 50-cent coin.
He's just chilling with it on his hand. Why?
Problem, because it is the most venomous octopus in the world. That's right, this fluoro spaghetti ball is packed to the brim with neurotoxin.
Of course.
More specifically,
of course.
tetrodotoxin. You know,
of
the
course.
same that turns cooking a puff fish into a quick time event. Yeah, these little guys are packing it too. However, because it is Australian, the blue-ringed octopus is on violence timing and is the only animal in the world to use this as an offensive measure by way of a venomous bite.
Oh
but what does the venom actually do? Well, imagine you're wading
it takes
through
you
the
out.
pools with your homies and you accidentally disturb this little gentleman's residence. The blue ring, taking the American approach to home defense, suctions onto your leg and bites you. Best part, it's completely painless. So if you're distracted by how thick your mate's looking in those Speedos, you aren't going to feel...
How scary is this? This is what, the 4th animal that penetrates you painlessly, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know if that's the exact number we talked about. How scary is it to think that you're going for a swim in the ocean or hanging out with your friends, doing whatever you may be, surfing, whatever water activity you may be doing, and then you get bit or penetrated, whatever it may be, for one of these animals, but you don't know because you don't feel it. You don't feel the bite. You don't feel the penetration. You don't feel anything until you get these side effects. And probably by the time you get these side effects, you wouldn't associate it with a creature in the ocean. You know what I mean? Maybe you think like you're suffering from something else, like another alignment or something, but I don't know. It's kind of crazy to think that these are kind of slow acting too. They're not instant. They act like 30 minutes after, give or take, it happens, and you don't know. Like, if you come out of the water and you're laying on the beach, you're like, oh, I probably did get affected by it, but I'm not sure, because you've never felt the pain of it bite. Maybe, though, I'm assuming you can see the bite mark. You may not be able to, depending on how small it is, especially him. This little guy is tiny, but you might be able to.
That is, until your face starts tingling like TV static.
Yeah.
It's warm out here under the sun, but you weren't sweating like this 5 minutes ago, and now you got a headache. You start to feel sick, weak. You go to call out, but your voice comes out slurred like you just knocked back a bottle of vodka.
2 shots of vodka.
2 shots? Love it.
And then suddenly, your legs come out from under you, and you hit the beach. Fun fact about tetrodotoxin. It's a paralytic.
What do you mean,
Freezes
fun
up
fact?
your muscles one by one, starting with your arms and legs, which is why you're kissing the sand. You know what else is a muscle? Your diaphragm, the muscle that controls your breathing.
Yes.
And yeah, turns those bad boys off too. And so, your chest stops rising and falling, and you suffocate to death right there on the beach.
That's scary. Scary, scary, scary,
Now,
scary,
you
scary.
may be wondering, how come no one called an ambulance?
Well, it's too
That's
fast.
easy. They didn't have time to.
Yeah.
You went up to meet your ancestors in under 20 minutes. God ordered your ass with same-day shipping, and this little f***er delivered. Employee of the month.
What do you mean employee of the month? The blue ring delivering you a heaven? And now, after watching that video, isn't it crazy how you see people just holding and handling this octopus? Is that not crazy to you? That's still crazy to me. I don't know. Not me. You will not catch me having that. You will not catch me holding it. You had lunch with a lizard.
The wild
cool lizard?
You see, before I made the videos, I worked as a handyman, and one day a client asked me to do some brush cutting because their lawn was, putting it lightly, completely f***ed. So I'm taming a miniaturized version of the Amazon jungle, and I see something that nearly gives me a heart attack. A big lump of scales slithering through the brush about 2 steps ahead of me. Being Australian, I immediately assumed it was a snake, which is a problem, because the only 2 snakes in my home state are highly venomous and extremely aggressive. So I immediately stopped what I was doing, backed the f*** up, and got ready to call in the snake catcher to relocate the angry hospital noodle.
Help me.
However, while dialing the number, I noticed something. It was kind of too fat to be a snake, and it hadn't tried to eat me yet. So, being the poster child for why women live longer than men, I waddled back over for a closer look, and I found this little guy. This is a blue.
You know what the nice thing is? It's not dumb. He's not going to harm you. That's the nice thing about blue tongue skink. If you guys are new here, if you guys have never seen it before, this is my dream pet. If I could have like any pet in the world, it's this guy right here, the blue tongue skink. I absolutely adore him. I loved working with them. I find them fascinating. I find them cool. I hopefully maybe will own one day. Who knows? Maybe not. But I absolutely love him. This is my dream pet. Like regardless of everything in the world. Like if I could own like a lion or a tiger, I wouldn't. I would own this little guy right here.
Tongue lizard. And they're actually pretty cool. Native to Australia, these bad boys are basically a tubby skink, but as the name suggests, they have a bright blue neon tongue. Now, I couldn't just leave this distinguished gentleman in harm's way, so I yoinked him and began looking for a place to relocate him away from where I was working.
Please respect
during
wildlife.
the relocation process, this cute little man proceeded to cuddle up to my shirt and fall asleep, and did not particularly appreciate me trying to move him from his resting place. So, considering it was the middle of the day, I just said, fuck it, called a lunch break, and proceeded to sit in the sun eating a chicken sandwich while Godzilla's little cousin took a nap on my shirt. He sat with me for my entire 30-minute lunch break without me holding him. However, unfortunately, I was only halfway through my workday, so after I wrapped up lunch, I had to say goodbye. I very delicately removed my new scaled friend from my shirt and released him back into the wild.
Aww, I love them so much.
Back into the bushes. There you go.
Look at them. Bye-bye.
I think this incident legally qualifies me as the first Australian Disney princess.
You know the cool thing too? I don't know if you guys see this or know it. It's a blue tongue skink. He does have a blue tongue. But unlike, you know, a majority of creatures here, he's not gonna give you... he's not gonna kill you. If he bites you, you're not dead. Because a lot of these creatures will kill you in Australia. They use it as a defense mechanism. They'll stick out their tongue at their predators to try and scare them away, to try and be like, I'm super venomous, I have a really bright blue tongue, it'll insta-kill you, and it doesn't. It's just a defense mechanism. They're so silly. I could also rant about blue tongue skinks forever, because I love them. I also worked with them. I worked with a group of 5 of them, 5 different ones, and they all had, like, silly different personalities. I know it's a reptile. I know, you know, the saying goes, like, reptiles can't have feelings, they don't feel love, whatever, and then giving like personality traits to animals, reptiles, like I can't think of the word for that, but I know that's the thing. But the funny thing is, working with 5 different variations of the blue tongue skink, I just love the way that they interacted with their environment differently. Each one had like their favorite spot to be at. Each one liked being picked up a certain way or like being held a certain way, because you used to have to do presentations. And someone commented this in my last video. They're like, wow, you sound like a zookeeper giving a presentation. And guys, guess what? I did. I used to have to give a presentation of a blue tongue skink. I would have to hold him on my arm and be like, hey, this is my blue tongue skink friend. You can find him in your garden. He's not poisonous. He's not harmless. He'll protect your gardens. Like, that's what I used to have to do. That was part of what I did in my life. So if I ever sound like that, that would be why. I absolutely love them. They're so adorable, but they're really cool. They're fascinating lizards. If you ever want to learn more about lizards, I suggest you researching them more. Oh, we must be done at the end of the playlist.
I ate lunch with a...
Damn. I ranted all that time and we're at the end of the playlist. All right, that means we're done the video. As always, if you want me to do, I guess that would be a part 3 now. If you want part 3 of the most popular videos from here, I will make another playlist and we'll go through them all. If you don't want anything, I won't do another one, you know? But comment down below if you would like the part 3, if you would like more reactions from me. And I hope you guys all have a fantastic day. If you made it all the way to the end of this video, comment down a lizard emoji, because that's the last animal we left off on. And it just shows appreciation. It shows that you watched the video, as well as you can tell me your favorite animal in the video. If your favorite animal showed up, if you have a favorite animal, please let me know down that in the comments below. Remember to like and subscribe, and do go check out the Patreon for more content. Catch you guys all on the flip side. Goodbye, everyone.